but Warriors! Where am I looking? All right, so this is incredible, and I am so excited. That is a picture of an actor back in the 70s. Before that, you saw Mike Vrabel and Matt Collins from the AFC champion New England Patriots in the year 2026, and it all comes together. That man you're seeing there is sitting with me here in studio in New York City, and he is a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, the inspiration to New England Patriots, David Patrick Kelly. DP, how we doing?
I'm fantastic, Kyle. Humbled to be here. Fantastic. Way to go, Mac. That was, you instilled fear in their hearts there. Now we just got to make sure it comes out right for you at the end.
We have so many things to talk about. We can't go any further without talking about this beautiful instrument you have. What is this and why?
Well, in these crazy times we're living in, I always like to find inspiration in things way older than us. This is from 1922, Kyle. This is made in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania by the Wyman Brothers.
Beautiful.
W-E-Y-M-A-N-N. It's older than Martin guitar. I know you got a Martin guitar, right? From
I don't.
Nazareth, Pennsylvania?
I do not.
This is Philadelphia. The Wyman Brothers were these German luthiers that lived there in 1866. They started this company. This is from 1922. So it's seen more than all of us, you know, and witnessed a lot of history. And so I wanted to have it because, here, feel it. See how heavy that is. Like a tape, right?
Very surprisingly heavy.
Isn't that amazing? So, and it's a rare banjo-lin. So it's a mandolin, but it's a banjo as well.
I love that. And you are an artist, which makes it all the more jarring that we are sitting here, ostensibly on a football show, talking to someone I have watched my entire life, your entire filmography, everything on stage, everywhere. I am a huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
So I'm thrilled when I'm watching the AFC title game.
Yeah.
And players and coaches are channeling your voice from the Warriors 1979. What has this phenomenon been like for you this week?
It's pretty great. People started flooding my feed, as you young people say, you know, with all the pictures and everything. And, you know, I'm just curious about, you know, somebody so young as all you guys are, where it came into their lives. Where's the first time they saw that, you know? Because I love the Warriors. You know, Walter Hill, you should have him on, because he's the football guy.
Yes.
You know, and his great stunt man, Alan Graff, is also fantastic. He played for USC.
Sure.
And Walter, you know, I was doing Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
I'm going to get off topic here a little bit, but, you know, and I told him, my father's name was Robert Corby Kelly. My brother's name is Robert Corby Kelly. His son is Robert Corby Kelly. Now, William Corby grew up in Detroit, like me.
Okay.
He went to be a priest at a little French missionary school in Indiana called Notre Dame.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
This is 1860, 1850, something like that. Civil War broke out. He volunteered to be the chaplain for the Fighting Irish in New York City, right where we are right now, the Fighting 69th. He became their chaplain. He was at Gettysburg. He stood on a rock and blessed all the troops. He gave them general absolution, north and south. They could all hear each other in those days. And they went out and, you know, it was an amazing tragedy out there, you know, but he went back and became the third president of Notre Dame. When I was on the set in Last Man Standing, I told that to Walter Hill. He said, I would have fired you if I'd known that, because I'm a USC guy.
Yeah, right. Fight on. Yes, I do. I know all about that.
But he didn't. Made a good movie there.
You obviously, you're a storyteller by nature, and you've been doing it for decades. Indulge us, DP. Indulge us, as all those who are watching, and Patriots fans and football fans. Tell us the story of being in New York City in 1978 when you're sitting in that hearse and somehow these end up in your hands. And what was it like on set that day? How did it come to that line? And what is the legacy of that for you? Tell us the story.
Well, those are too big, you know, first of all.
It's difficult to do.
I can't remember what the brand was, but they had very tiny, small bottles.
Sure.
And so there was nothing in the script, and they just meet and fight on the boardwalk. And Walter said, you know, we need something more here. I want you to taunt them a little bit more, you know, and so he gave me a few minutes, and I found under the boardwalk there, I found, first of all, I found pigeons. I said, I'm going to hold up, because they used to sadly poison the pigeons because it was a danger to the businesses that were out there on the boardwalk.
Cheap on dead pigeons.
Yeah, dead pigeons.
Okay.
And so I held up 3 pigeons. He said, no, that's not going to work. And so then I went back and I found these 3 small beer bottles. And because of my off-Broadway experience, being at CBGB's for 74, 75, when all the new bands were coming through, I had a great band. And he saw me on Broadway play this. Granddad was a sailor. He blew in off the water. My father was a farmer, and I his only daughter. Took up with a no-good mill-working man from Massachusetts. And that's a Millwork song James Taylor wrote. Thank you kindly for a show called Working. The great Stephen Schwartz put together a show called Working based on Studs Terkel's book. People talking about what they do all day. That's where Walter Hill and Larry Gordon saw me. They said, we're going to have this guy play the villain. I played a crazy character in that play. And so I played Luther, and Walter wanted me to sing something to them. I said, well, I can't, I was at CBG, I heard of these crazy people doing stuff. So I said, I got to do something different. And so that's the way it came out. And I just clicked those bottles, and I give it up to him to keep it in, because, the sound crew was going, I don't know what, I was really shocked that they kept it in.
It's everywhere. It's legacy. It's not just the Patriots. The Golden State Warriors have channeled it. People on the street, I'm sure, channel it. Do people still scream this at you and try to get you to do it?
They do. And people, I like some of the people that have taken it up. I like the Offspring song, Keep 'Em Separated.
Yeah. Come out and play.
Yeah, that one's great. I liked, who else did I like? There's a number. There's Run the Jewels is a good.
Yeah, sure.
The group they did an homage to it on the cover there, and there's a few. Wu-Tang Clan put it in one of their songs, So it's really cool because the Warriors came out at the same time as hip hop was coming up, becoming what it is today, and so they like that and the stylized aspect of it, the Western part of it. Walter Hill loves Westerns. He calls every movie he makes a Western. That's why I'm glad that I saw the star on Mac's vest.
Yes.
Because Bobby Mannix, our great costume designer, just came along and stuck that on there, so they'd know. Oh. Because that was a great deal shorter than most of my gang. She wanted me to stick out as the leader.
I could tell, and it works.
Put that on there.
Bottles. Everyone on that crew obviously was all in, and it looks absolutely amazing. DP, I mentioned I've watched you my whole life. You're a funny guy, DP. I like you. So I'm going to ask you about Commando last. Remember how I asked you, I said I was going to ask about Commando last? I lied. Take me back to the mid-'80s, please.
Yeah.
This is post-Terminator Schwarzenegger, pre-Predator Schwarzenegger.
Right.
And there he is hanging you off a cliff as Sully. Please tell me the story.
Well, Arnold was a great comic book, hero. He was Conan, was that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Conan, absolutely. And he was... he was the
Hercules,
and robots and all kinds of people. He wanted to do something where he was human. So he had the great Alyssa Milano as his daughter.
Sure.
They had this ex-commando thing going on. And, we were there to drive the story forward, to make sure these horrible, decadent mercenaries who were working for this would-be dictator we're driving the story, that made Arnold, because if he wasn't looking for his daughter, if he wasn't fighting for his family, the story wouldn't have been anything, and so that's how that came about. And I used my training with Marcel Marceau and all my silent movie heroes to hang upside down there, wearing the great Benny Dobbins. Love stunt people, all props to stunt people. Benny Dobbins was the late, great guy who worked for Walter a lot on Red Heat and a bunch of other things.
Sure.
And he was a cowboy stuntman in the 50s. He had this great leather-tooled stuntman's belt. When they used to play the Cowboys and the Indians back then, they would shoot them and pull them off the horse by their leg. So I got to wear Benny's belt, and that's what Arnold was holding me upside down on the cliff of Griffith Park.
Yeah.
Which I love. That's where James Dean had his knife fight in Rebel Without a Cause. And there I was hanging upside down, imitating my silent movie heroes, being the bad guy.
Incredible. And a great bad guy.
Yeah.
You're such a nice guy, and the guy's such a scumbag. You're obviously such a great actor.
Well, it's this insight. And from Catholic education, the via negativa, Kyle. The via negativa. That's the way that you can come around to the good from the bad. You see?
Yeah, I think Mike Vrabel knows the via negativa as well. Listen, so many other works, so many other projects. I have to ask you about a seminal movie in the 90s that meant a lot to me as a youth, The Crow.
Yeah.
So many different reasons. Again, you played a villain. Brandon Lee, Ernie Hudson. Could you just tell us a story from The Crow?
Oh, it can't rain all the time. The sky won't fall forever. That's James Seabury's great song that's in there. It was a great soundtrack.
Fantastic.
Alex Proyas and James O'Barr, who wrote that. I loved it because there was an emotional content based on a true tragedy that had occurred to James O'Barr, who grew up in Detroit. I keep going back to my Detroit. And that's why I wanted to do it, because one of my great heroes, Martin Scorsese, said you got to do things from where you're from. Mm-hmm. Now, that was a cartoon version, of course, but there were a lot of elements to it. The stuff that James O'Barr wrote about Detroit in there, and that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do The Crow. And so Brandon was a great guy, wonderful guy. We talked about training together, and then the tragedy occurred. And I went to visit my brother who lived in England at the time, and went to Shakespeare's house and found Milton's Paradise Lost, illustrated by William Blake, mm-hmm. at a bookstore right by Shakespeare's house where he wrote King Lear and The Tempest and everything else. And brought that back, and we had a break before we could film it. We didn't know if we were going to film it. We finished it for Brandon, for his legacy, and Alex Proyas let me put that book into the final print that we have in The Crow, So it's Paradise Lost, and it's yeah, it means a lot. It was kind of the Rebel Without a Cause for that generation of people, with that great soundtrack with all those wonderful songs in there, and Brandon's legacy, about a sad story.
An incredible answer with song, and I really respect you because I know that not all the memories of that movie are pleasant because of what happened.
Yeah.
You have so many things going on. Is it true? I hope it's true that the Warriors, after all these years, is coming to the stage in New York?
Lin-Manuel Miranda, my good friend, and Issa Davis wrote a beautiful thing. We made an album. I'm on the album too with James Remar from the original cast of the Warriors. And Shensia, wonderful artist, sings this song. It's a great song at the end of the play. They're trying to do it now. Mm-hmm. It's a great revision. It's totally true to the spirit of the original, mm-hmm. but it's like a Japanese, comic books at all?
Yeah.
A Japanese manga.
Okay.
It's like that, like Ghost in the Machine or something like that.
Samurai?
No, it's more science fiction, crazy rebels against
awesome.
Technocracy, you know? And so it's a really fantastic thing, and he wrote this great score. And here's a little snippet, a little mashup of the final song that Shensia sings. It goes, ay, 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 canta y no llores. Ghosts of the city live underground. Everyone you ever lost is still around, yes. You see them in the flicker of the train's fluorescent light. Here in the night, and we're all on the same train. We're taking the same train. We're all on the same train home. It's a beautiful thing, and the songs are, they got wonderful people involved in it. They had a lot of the hip-hop people on it. So look for that coming up in about a year, on Broadway.
I just got goosebumps when you're playing that.
Oh, fantastic.
Matt Collins, I want you to learn this song before the Super Bowl. I want you to learn the banjolin. I want you to learn all the lyrics, Matt Collins. DPK, you have anything to say to the New England Patriots before the Super Bowl?
Strike fear in their hearts. Make it come out the way you want it to come out.
That is a legend right there. David Patrick Kelly. Why don't you just play us out while we go to commercial? Just anything you like.
Again, okay.
This is the man right here.
Minneapolis, Minneapolis, you are...
NFL Super Bowl slot.